Good morning, my lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard. I'm Laura, and this is a concert review. As I said in my intro, this is a concert review. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about the 2 concerts that I saw on the Trinity of Terror Tour. Now, I already did a sort of synopsis with Brooke and Sarah, talking about the Myrtle Beach show, so I won't go too in-depth with that. But I will talk a little bit more about Charlotte because I did a different kind of experience with the Charlotte show. I did regular VIP at Myrtle Beach. I also discussed that a little bit more when I appeared on BVB Hearts to Hearts, so I'll link that video at the end of this video, as well as the part 1 of the concert review that talked a little bit more about the Myrtle Beach show. But in talking about the Myrtle show, I do want to show you the swag that I got for the VIP because I didn't get to show that in the last video because it had already been packed. Let me show you what you would get with a Trinity of Terror Tour VIP package. Any merchandise that you bought would come in these really cool white plastic bags that have the 3 bands and just like the Trinity of Terror Tour logo on them, which I thought was really cool. But the VIP guests received a drawstring bag. Now, we all know what I have to say about these drawstring bags. They're very flimsy. This one actually feels a lot better than the last one that we got from the Ink show, but it's still not that thick canvas material that Ink started off with. These are the slightly cheaper nylon-y feeling bags, but Sarah has been carrying hers around as a purse, and it actually has held up. So I'm less inclined to say bad things about this one. Canvas bags were my favorite. But it also has the Trinity of Terror Tour logo with the 3 bands symbolized on the tombstones. Now, the things inside, I feel like it gets less and less every VIP that we do. The first thing is a lanyard, and it says the Trinity of Terror Tour with the really cool hand, and it does have BVB and Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills represented, but BVB is in the center, which was really cool. It also has the date. On the back, it says Trinity of Terror Tour RIP Experience, and then the 3 band names, and then the same for the bottom, the 3 logos in 2022. And then the lanyard itself is just a sound ring lanyard. And then one of the weirdest things that I've ever received in a VIP package. This reminded me of like the stuff they try to shove in your face at Warped Tour. It is a Fearless Records playlist. It's a lanyard attachment that looks like this. It says "We Are Fearless" with the little skull on it. And the back has like a playlist of songs of bands that are signed with Fearless Records. And then there's a QR code that takes you to that playlist and tells you to scan to stream the playlist. Really strange thing to put in a VIP package, if you ask me. And then one of the big items that we got, pins. These are very high quality, heavy enamel pins that represent all 3 bands on the different tombstones. This is actually a super cool item. I wish that I still had my Ida bag because I would totally put this with my Ice Nine Kills Ida bag and it would be so cute. And then the last thing, a poster. They actually wrapped the poster in this really cool plastic, like a thick plastic. I saw a clip of Chevy putting all the posters into the plastic and I was like, that's a really cool idea. Why? Well, because it rains, people spill stuff all over you at concerts, and there also was a water effect during the show. So it was nice to know that your poster wasn't going to get wet and then crinkly. The poster is the big Trinity of Terror Tour flyer that has the 3 tombstones and the names. The cool thing about it is that it's signed by every band. You can clearly make out Andy's signature there, and it's signed by most of the band members. There's Cece's and Jinx. Spencer's right there. Like, most of the band members you can make out their signatures very clearly. So as someone that is a fan of all three of these bands, that's a really interesting and cool poster. And the pins are rather unique as well. So all in all, you really got 4 items. You got the lanyard, the bag, the pins, and the poster. We're not counting the Fearless record plug, but yeah, I don't know. I guess after Ice Nine Kills VIPs, where you would get like a bandana and a necklace and a charm and all these different things that are like really cool and you can wear them, this seemed a little lackluster, thinking that there were 3 bands on the tour. There was nothing like specific for each individual band. It was all just like combined. This is a 3-band tour. Here are the 3 bands. So that's basically all I wanted to touch on with the Myrtle Beach show that I didn't really get to talk about in the previous video and won't be talking about in this review specifically. So the thing that I did differently with the Charlotte show was I didn't get meet and greet VIP from the band. Instead, we got venue VIP. I didn't fall into the Sun VIP package because I don't think that's worth it. I think that's just a lot of money for very little. But we did do the venue VIP. And the venue VIP for the Charlotte Fillmore is actually undergoing construction, and they're like revamping it. They're doing like a yearly membership that you can apply for, and the yearly membership's going to be like $1,000. But if you go to a lot of shows at that specific venue, it's a really good idea. If you don't go to a lot of shows at that specific venue, it's not a great idea. So I'm kind of sad that they're getting rid of the individual event VIPs for the Fillmore, simply because this was a really cool experience. One thing about the Fillmore though is that they do have a bag policy, and a lot of people didn't know about the bag policy because they just didn't look it up. It is right there on the website that you can only carry a certain size clear bag or a clutch or something like that. So all of these people that had been to other shows that had VIP bags were a little upset that they couldn't take their drawstring bag into the venue, knowing that there were people inside doing VIP that had drawstring bags. The difference is that they didn't bring the items that were in their drawstring bags in a bag that couldn't be checked. And it is a security risk for someone to stick their hand down into a bag not knowing what's inside, or even to feel around outside of a bag not knowing what's inside. So I always try to comply with the clear bag policy, and I do try to like ball up a drawstring bag and stick it down in the bottom of my clear bag just in case I need to put the clear bag in something bigger if I buy merch or something. It's always a good idea to have something like that just tied up and really small in the corner of your bag, even if you take a clear bag, because you never know when you're going to need something like that. But the Fillmore's VIP experience is that you get to get into the venue early. A lot of people get that early entry venue access so that they can make it to the barricade. I thought about it. I did. I thought about going in and just like V-laying towards the barricade. But when we got in there were so many people that were already in there from the band VIP that I would have been very close to the pit, and I doubt I could have made my way all the way up to the barricade for the show. So instead, we decided to take advantage of the other VIP perk, which was to stand on the side of the stage and enjoy the show from there instead of in front of the stage. This little section beside the stage has a private bar and a private bathroom, which is really, really nice. You also can upgrade your venue VIP for like, I think $80 to $90 and get a table. We didn't do that because we didn't see the point. We wanted to be enjoying the music, so we didn't really want to just like sit and spectate. But you do have that option to upgrade. There are also couches that you can purchase for about the same amount, where you can sit on the couch and view the show from there. For a rock show, I don't see why you would want to do those things unless you were extremely exhausted from a show before. But like I said, we didn't opt for the tables anyway. We decided to stand. And the view was immaculate. It was so cool to be able to see the side stage view of all of these performances. Some things were lost because they have equipment on the side of the stage, and that equipment did pose a bit of a lackluster effect when you were trying to engage with the bands. With Motionless in White specifically, Chris acknowledged that we were over there and continued to sing in all directions, like the entire venue, including our section, which was beside of the stage. I believe it's because the box lights weren't as bright during the Motionless in White performance. There was something different between the Motionless performance and the other two. And Motionless did play first during this set. So Chris did start to acknowledge us, and a little girl that was standing with us actually got that Chris Motionless acknowledgement twice. The first time was the one thing that Chris has taken so much joy in this year, and that's telling her that she couldn't curse, and then the parent giving him permission to tell her she could curse. The funniest thing every single time I see it. If I see it in video or in person, it's always so funny because the kids' reactions fuel how he reacts.
What I need from you is I'm going to scream the words, so when you face the truth, and then you are gonna scream, open your fucking eyes. You think we can do that? Except, of course, you three right there. You guys are just too young. I'm sorry. Listen, you know what? Are you with your parents? Is that cool? Can they say it? Well, you're not supposed to say yes, then it's not fucking cool if they do say it. Just say no. I'm looking at you three, the loudest fuck of the night. Here we go. This one's called Thoughts and Prayers.
And then, during Eternally Yours, he made sure to give the little girl a rose while he was singing. So he definitely acknowledged that we were not only there, but also that we were just as big of fans as the people that were in front of the stage. It's funny, actually, the parent of the little girl recognized Sarah from a previous Ice Nine Kills show, and she said, "You're cheeseburgers." And Sarah was like, "Excuse me?" And she was like, "Yeah, you're the girl that gave cheeseburgers to everybody at the last Ice Nine Kills show in Greensboro." And Sarah was like, "Oh, yeah, that was totally me." So we've been to enough shows locally that people are starting to recognize us, and that's pretty cool. Some of the show was a little bit more lackluster because we were side stage instead of in front of the stage. The biggest thing was a lot of the theatrics were lost on us because the theatrics play to the front of the room.
Pick it up! I wanna see how crazy you motherfuckers today!
Motionless in White, not so much, because their actor does play to the whole room, but with Ice Nine Kills specifically, Spencer and Chevy play to the front of the stage. So anytime there was a Chevy kill on stage or something like that, their choreography is so specific so that they don't get hurt that it's played to the front of the stage, and if you're side stage, you don't really see the same effect. That being said, you did get to see some behind the scenes things that were pretty cool. A different view on, like, during Ex Mortis, when Chevy comes out in that new character, you did get a better view of that character from the side than from the front. I was also filming the shower scene, where they have incorporated the shower kill from Psycho into the stage show, and I won't show the clip because from the side stage you can see Chevy behind the curtain, and it not only ruins the amazing silhouette effect that happens, but it's definitely something you weren't supposed to see. Funny nonetheless, but definitely won't be exposing that. So while part of the show was a little lackluster because it wasn't a full-on view of the show, it was still really cool to see it from the side stage. So the contrast between seeing Motionless on stage and seeing Black Veil Brides follow them was the lights were brighter, the sound was much louder. Like, I don't know what the difference was, but they got a lot loud, like at a shocking level. The bass and all of the music, and especially the microphones, were much louder than Motionless in White's set. But the biggest difference between the two sets was none of the band members really saw that we were to the side of the stage. And I think it was a lighting thing. The lights were different, the light show was different, and both Black Veil Brides and Ice Nine Kills never glanced in our direction, which was odd because during Motionless in White, Chris and Ricky, because we were on Ricky's side, were constantly playing to our side, as well as the rest of the audience. So it was a very stark contrast when the lights got brighter, the sound got louder, and we became invisible to the rest of the bands. But I do feel like it was the fault of the lighting and the equipment that was on the side of the stage versus them just not paying attention to this side. To me, it did make more sense to have Black Veil Brides sandwiched between the two bands, whether it was Ice Nine Kills opening or Motionless opening. I think my favorite lineup would have been Motionless, Black Veil Brides, Ice Nine Kills, which is the lineup that they had for the Charlotte show. I feel like Ice Nine Kills closes out a show really well. I feel like Black Veil Brides leads from the Motionless sound into the Ice Nine sound because they have that blend, and Motionless really knows how to get a crowd pumped up. They even had a entire fan group that called themselves the Pit Crew that really riled up the pit at Charlotte. And speaking of the pit, the Charlotte show had a pit. They also had crowd surfers, and I've been to the Fillmore before. It's the same venue that I saw Falling in Reverse with Cece standing in for their drummer. And the Fillmore's stage is significantly lower than the stage at Myrtle. The stage at Myrtle was like 7 foot tall. The stage at the Fillmore was like chest height. So the band members were able to jump off stage and interact with the barricade, which is one of my favorite parts of being at Barricade and being at a show. At the Myrtle show, they weren't able to do that because the stage was so tall. I don't think I talked about it in the last video, so I'm going to mention it here. It made my day to see the My Bloody Valentine themed costumes worn while they sang Take Your Pick. While Ice Nine Kills played Take Your Pick. They had an actual miner, like the whole Harry Warden head-to-toe mining suit with the jumpsuit and the gas mask and all of that. And, of course, a pickaxe. And then the rest of the band wore miner hats with lights on them. It was amazing. I love it. My Bloody Valentine is one of my favorite movies. The original, not as much as the remake. And while Take Your Pick is more of a really heavy song, it's still one of my favorites because it is My Bloody Valentine themed. And I also really love the lyric that was pulled from the movie Valentine with David Boreanaz. Roses are red, violets are blue, they'll need dental records to identify you. One of my favorite lyrics. I'm so happy that he pulled that Valentine line and stuck it into a My Bloody Valentine song, because that just made it even better for us horror fans who could pick something like that out and be like, oop, that doesn't belong there, but it fits. I did mention how they've added a lot of new characters, and Chevy specifically has a lot of new characters, but I always have to praise Chevy, and she is fantastic, and she was always fantastic. Both shows just amazing. I almost forgot. We also got bacon ranch cheese fries while standing at the side stage. You could just order them from the bar, and you could go get them and eat them while you watch the concert. And that was amazing. I loved that. Both venues actually had liquid death instead of a bottled water. So when you asked for water, they gave you liquid death. At the Myrtle venue, they gave you the can. At the Fillmore venue, the can was too dangerous, and they gave you a cup that they poured the liquid death into. So it was nice to not be drinking like a water that tastes chlorinated because it's been filtered through city water and stuff like that. Like, it was nice. It was really nice to not have to drink a tap water. And then they also had cheese fries, which were like the best cheese fries I've ever had because they were tossed in ranch dressing, and then you had ranch dressing on the side as well. Amazing. So to compare the two VIPs, I always recommend doing the band VIP. I do not recommend doing the second tier VIP for the band because you don't get to meet the band. Instead, I would recommend something like a venue VIP if it's available, because that's just your second step up. Which one would I prefer? The cheese fries make it hard to say, but I would actually prefer to do the meet and greet and stand at barricade. While standing at the side of the stage was fun and a unique experience, it wasn't that same connection with the band that I personally go to shows for. It felt too relaxed. I mean, I was eating cheese fries, listening to Ice Nine Kills. It was way too relaxed. I would much prefer to be right in front of the stage, just taking it all in. But it was a unique experience. Between the two, I would suggest getting barricade with the band VIP. But if you don't like crowds, and you don't like being pushed up against the barricade, and you don't mind not being acknowledged by the bands, a venue VIP would be a really cool alternative, especially if you're one of those people that likes to drink a lot and you need a bathroom, or just like to not feel trapped. It's a good option. So all in all, I think that the lineup for the Charlotte show was better. The barricade placement and the stage height was better. But the experience of seeing the band up close at the Myrtle show was better. So there were definitely things from both events that I enjoyed more than other things. If I would have been barricade at Charlotte, there wouldn't have been a contest. Charlotte would have won, because that barricade itself is just awesome. It's one of my favorites. I always love shows at the Fillmore, especially if you can get barricade. So yeah, that was my part 2 review of the Trinity of Terror Tour, the Charlotte concert. For the comments down below, tell me which band you would want to see in which order. So like I said, I personally really enjoyed Motionless in White, then Black Veil Brides, then closing the show with Ice Nine Kills. Even though hearing Black Veil Brides close the show with In the End is always really cool. And then, if you don't talk to me about that, tell me, of those 3 bands, which song would you like to hear most? And if you don't talk to me about that, tell me, of those 3 bands, which ones do you want to hear collab? Because I know we have heard Chris and Spencer sing together before, but I'd really love to hear like a combination and a song collaboration. I think that would be amazing. And if you don't talk to me about that, just talk to me about something, because I love for you to talk to me down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye!
I want to say something. Thank you to each and every person in this room for choosing to spend your hard-earned money and coming to see a rock and roll show tonight. Thank you all very much. We exist in a time where heroes of ours say shit like rock is dead and there's no more rock. And that's fucking bullshit, and you prove that every night by supporting bands and going out to see shows. The reason any of us get to do this is because of you people, so thank you so fucking much for keeping this shit alive. question. We got old school Black Belt fans here tonight. I want to say to you, we know that saying that you're a Black Belt fan isn't always easy. It comes with a lot of bullshit from other people. We're aware of this shit. But you know what? You said fuck you to them and you listened to our fucking band and you gave us a shot and we love you for that shit. The song we got to each and every one of you is called Knives and Pen.